Hello, and welcome to A Dose of Design with Drew. I'm Drew, and I'm really excited to bring you a dose of design thinking today that will inspire you to rethink, reinvent, and reimagine the future of learning in your classroom, your school, or your district. Today we're going to start here, the universe. All-encompassing, always expanding, and filled with all kinds of possibilities. We're going to take our focus, though, slightly less celestial, and speak specifically about how this notion of universality can be applied to design, specifically designing learning experiences and environments for students. I argue that now, more than ever, we have the unique opportunity and awesome responsibility to refocus the future of how students experience school. This is the closest we're ever going to get to a reset button in our lifetime. If we don't seize this opportunity, we fall victim to returning to the status quo in a system that did not work for so many of our students, especially the ones who are most vulnerable. How might we then create an education system that's focused on student-centeredness, driven by equity, and founded on responsive practices? Enter the Universal Design for Learning. The Universal Design for Learning is a neuroscience-backed framework for educators and designers of learning experiences to incorporate universal design into teaching and learning. This framework is aligned to activating specific portions of the brain that relate to the why, the what, and the how of learning. At its core, a learning experience that is universally designed provides for, I'm gonna write this down, multiple means of engagement, representation, and expression for all learners. Universal Design for Learning operates with the understanding that there is no one means of engagement, representation, and expression that's optimal for all learners. Therefore, we must intentionally create multiple ways for students to experience and participate in their learning environment. In other words, when designing learning experiences and environments, we need to think critically about, one, how learners engage within that learning environment, whether that be through manipulatives or special materials. Two, how learning experience designers craft those experiences and share information with learners, so whether that be through slides, through video, through a lecture, etc. And three, how learners are ultimately able to show what they know and demonstrate mastery of key knowledge, skills, and disposition. Now, an important consideration to make when leveraging universal design is to design for the fringes, or for those who are in the margins. Take a doorway to a building, for example. If the only way to open or close that door is with a standard doorknob, a wide variety of people might not be able to get through that door because of limitations in physical ability. Now, if we were to design a new doorway, specifically for someone who could not use their arms, which is a small subsection of the population or an extreme use case in this example, we might opt for an automatic door, one that relies on a sensor like you might see at the grocery store. In this case, it turns out that the design of the automatic door enhances the experience for someone with limited mobility and for someone without physical limitations. So this new solution, which is simple, intuitive, equitable, and flexible in use and requires low physical effort, turns out to be a better solution for everybody. You might say that as educators, we're in a perpetual state of building doorways, ramps, staircases, elevators, escalators, to help our students get from where they are to where we want them to be. As architects of learning experiences and environments, it's in our best interest to create solutions for our students that apply the same universal design principles. There could not be a more opportune time to start taking UDL seriously again. The past few months of unrest, uncertainty, and unknowns have opened our eyes to situations that many of us didn't wish to acknowledge. Now is the time to reimagine the learning experience for all students, and UDL can help us do that in three specific ways. The first is to create responsive classrooms. Regardless of what the classroom looks like these days, whether it be behind a screen or in person, Universal Design for Learning offers us opportunities to make those learning experiences that we craft for students more responsive to and reflective of their needs. As we plan to return to school in the fall, the question we should be asking ourselves is not what gaps do we need to fill, but rather where are students right now? How can we be the most responsive to student needs where they are currently, and how can we leverage their voice, their strengths, their learning abilities, and their interests to get them to where they need to be. The second is equity. Every system is perfectly designed to get the results that it gets. This quote, which can be attributed to a number of different thinkers, is reflective of the collective wake-up call that so many of us have received over the past several months. Many of the systems and structures we have been operating in the K-12 system were designed inequitably. Our job right now is to dismantle those systems, omit oppressive power structures, remove rhetoric that's rooted in racism, and eliminate processes that don't support equity. The Universal Design for Learning framework, by design, was intentionally created to promote equitable learning environments. The word universal was selected because curriculum and associated learning experiences should honor and reflect all learners' backgrounds, strengths, needs, and interests. Not some learners, not most learners, all learners. And lastly, Universal Design for Learning can help us create student-centered learning environments. Whether you call it personalized, blended, competency-based learning, the future of learning is student-centered. This all-encompassing term provides and promotes the idea that learning should be driven by students and guided by the expertise of educators. Universal Design for Learning allows us to achieve this vision for a student-centered future by offering multiple ways for students to participate in the learning process and give them the voice and the choice to select the tools and methods that work best for them. Well, that about wraps it up for this edition of A Dose of Design with Drew. I'd love to hear from you about how you're incorporating the Universal Design for Learning into your schools and classrooms. So click the link below and share your thoughts. Take care.